with a lot on the line here for Alpha X. Can they get one victory? They need to beat this player right here. Freaka Freaks. Keen, the Red Terran. Alpha Freaks. Alpha F and Alpha X. It's the Alpha X player right here in the blue. Give it up for Ragnarok. The Zerg, the Swarm. Looks like we actually have people playing on the Frost map here as well. Pretty exciting. Having this map back in the rotation. Kind of going to be able to see what is what's happening with the players on this one. It's very cool to see a TVZ on this as well, I have to say. Exciting to have these two players on this massive map, and who knows, maybe we're in for a treat. Maybe it's going to be a short one, but whatever it's going to be, it's bound to be good, right? Let's assume so. Let's assume so, and then, you know, we'll only be let down if it's not. That's all. Looking pretty sharp so far for both these players. Ragnarok going for, well, the opposite, I would say, of a macro build. Looks like a gas geyser has been taken there together with a spawning pool. And normally, you know, it's a bit tricky to do something like this on a 4-player map. You're not quite sure where your opponent is. At the same time, this might give him an opportunity, though, right? Because Skeen may not anticipate such a quick, aggressive play at the start, or because of the very same reason. Now, this Overlord right here is going to give away the position for kind of both these players here, if they were paying attention. That Reaper, let's see if the SCV sees the Zerglings. That could be a big deal already. Yes, it does. So should keep the Reaper back at home right now. Keep that safe and secured. Excuse me. Yeah, just play better. If you're struggling at StarCraft 2, just play better. Just learn how to use full spellcasters at a time without making mistakes. And there you go. Infestor, Queen, Viper. I guess it's only 3, right? Infestor, Queen, Viper. It's still difficult. It's still difficult. Still have your main army components as well as the lurkers that you have to reposition here and there. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Anyway, Ragnarok. What's this little Ragnarok? How'd you get in here? There's a lot of SCVs suddenly being destroyed. 5 of them at least. And we're going to get some more. Yes, we are. 6. 2 more Zerglings remain. Not sure if they're going to get anything done, but a couple more here on the low grounds. From this, we have a lot of droning going on. Trying to immediately jump up on the worker count in front of his opponent. Now, the command center is, of course, still okay on the low ground here for Keen, the secondary one. So, should be able to reproduce those SCVs at a relative quick pace. Wondering how quickly he was planning his third base here. So we are seeing a couple of Banshees being added in there. Hellions right now being sacrificed. Getting only the mere amount of 2 drone kills right there. To end up killing a few extra Zerglings, I suppose, but forcing out a couple of, well, only a few Zerglings really. So Ragnarok guy, like his position here. He's played this well. Played it aggressively and then very conservatively, just getting the bare minimum of what he needed to fend off against what was coming at him. He doesn't have any Spore Crawlers here yet though, nor does he have any Overseers, so a Cloak Banshee attack could still cause devastating amounts of damage, as far as I'm aware. He doesn't have Spore Crawlers. I didn't quite see them. I could be mistaken, of course. It's hard to check. Alright, there is the Overseer immediately in production. Ooh, Cloak not quite ready. Okay, there we go. Did definitely buy himself some time, and now that Overseer is just about to be ready, and Ragnarok! Wrecking absolutely there. Quite the play. That was the one Banshee really that I thought might be able to put King in a good position here, but it did nothing. It just did nothing. It showed itself a second too early, allowing it to attack that creep tumor that was still producing. Immediately, Ragnarok starts up that Overseer right at that moment in time. The Banshee had to move backwards a little bit because the Queens were already in position and it was taking too much damage. That was a very small thing, but attacking that creep tumor actually allowed Ragnarok to deal with it as efficiently as he did, I do believe. So even now, getting another Banshee picked out of the sky just like that, not a single drone lost to that boy. Couple of Hellions here looking for maybe some more drones, but the third base not quite yet acquired by our Blue Zerg. Instead, he opted to go for a lot of Mutalisk here. The Mutalisk, I don't think they're going to find a lot of potential damage across the map. They're going to make life a lot more difficult for Keen if they just stay alive. That's basically what I feel like they need to do. Don't overcommit for damage, just stay alive, stay a threat. Keep things difficult for Keen. You don't want him sending out medevacs, you don't want him easily moving out an SCV to just grab another base. You want him to continuously worry about where are these Mutalisks going, where do I need my Marines to be, and oh my, is this going to be picked up? That Stimpack, that could, oh my god, he just did it! Oh no, Keen! Well, that is not supposed to happen, of course, from Keen's perspective. Losing the Stimpack, and it was just like between 20 and 10 seconds from completing. Oh, that is brutal. Now the Hellions, okay, bit of miscontrol from the Zerglings, allowing them to move a bit further, but again, the Mutalisks come in to truly show their worth. Taking those Hellions out immediately and just scooting back across the map once again. That's a lot of value being achieved so far. Ragnarok almost up 20 workers. Still a bit equal on overall army supplies. So that's the one thing that could still come in to nab him in the behind later down the line. A very strong push from King could still do quite a number on him. But then again, if you don't have Stimpack, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. It doesn't quite get it this time around. Could make another move for it, but I doubt that these Marines are going to move anywhere else right now. They're just going to stick on that tech lab like it's made out of gold right now. Alright. You know what? He's doing good with those Mutalisks. Before I said I want him to keep them alive. Definitely feels like he's doing that. Definitely feeling like he managed to do a ton with them already, a lot more than I thought he would as well. Now, he finally being able to move his third base over around the 9-minute mark. As Ragnarok is almost done producing his fourth base here. Everything looking positive for our Blue Zerg. Nice repair on that missile turret. Doesn't quite keep it alive, but doesn't lose too many SCVs. 3 of them there. It still feels like a bit more damage than you would like to take, as Keen, of course, already being in a bit of a struggling position. Now losing some siege tanks as well. Oh, the Mutalisks do seem to be caught out, though. So, a couple of them managed to get picked up. Again, a lot less than I thought there would be. Ragnarok, the magician with the Mutalisk micro here. He's only lost 5 so far. Very well done. It's not a base, of course. That entire bottom side of the map feels entirely open for the Zerg. Can just endlessly expand towards it. The Terran here in a lot of trouble with the overall map, I would say. Definitely feeling more and more Ragnarok favored with the way he's able to control this Terran position in the top left side. That being said, it's going to be difficult to finish off his opponent if he allows him to trade out too efficiently. Now, Ragnarok definitely not allowing that to happen so far. Might just be rolling in with a 200 supply worth of banging pressure into an army which is mainly consisting out of Marines. There's no Widow Mines here either. If there were Widow Mines, I could see a way that you could still win against a 200 supply Widow Mine or a Banging army, but as is, not entirely convinced. Yeah, it comes. Oh no, as he stepped out too far, the siege tanks not sieged up, the Marines trying to run away. Banging's blowing up the siege tanks here. They don't care anymore. Those Marines still moving backwards quite nicely, but it's just too much. It's just way too much. Nothing here to stop it, and that is going to secure Alpha X the victory over the Afrika Freaks. 4 score has been acquired. The winner will be Ragnarok with this round. And so will Alpha X, of course, be the victor overall. Now, there will be another match here, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to be seeing whether or not the Alpha X's are going to be able to make this a 5-1. Or if they're going to be making it a 4-2. Ragnarok already securing the victory with the help of his teammates, of course. We saw Zoun taking a very important 2-0 victory. And Classic being able to secure a victory against Trap as well. If that hadn't happened, then this of course would still be a very tight series, with either of these teams being able to win in this final match. But right now all chances have been removed from the hands of the Afrika Freaks. Right now it's just a case of trying to salvage the situation into the best possible outcome yet remaining, which is just losing at a less severe map score deficit. So we'll see, but Alpha X looking pretty strong so far. Afrika Freaks, of course, a couple of their main members were having to go for military service. Stats comes to mind. Player that we all know is of formidable strengths in the StarCraft 2 game. Taken out of the equation, maybe helping out Alpha X here as well. And again, the likes of Trap, the likes of Keen, Armani, not players to be underestimated at all. Both players that were looking to be getting better and better equipped to start really getting high rankings in the tournaments going on. But right now, Zoun, Ragnarok, you know what? Also, 2 of those players that just see improve so much. It just becomes, again, like all of the players are just improving endlessly, and it's very fun to see. Some players improve more so than others, that's for sure, but it does feel like the entire boat of the kind of player base that we're having is just being raised overall with their skill level. And it is tremendous to see. The strategies, the micro, everything that these players can do right now. Producing some absolutely wonderful games of StarCraft 2. See how we are going to be starting things off here. Regular Hellion opening, it looks like. Perhaps once more with those Banshees as a follow-up, as we see the starport for quite close to the tech lab. And Ragnarok aiming for a 3rd base quite early on. No early spawning pools this time around. Just sticking to some true and tested methods of getting your economy going as quickly as possible. Having 3 bases, of course, does make it a bit easier for the Hellions and the Banshees to get some potential damage. Just spreading yourself out over a large area, that means more areas are going to be unprotected. Overlord so far not quite finding the area with the producing tech lab. still a bit in the dark about what is going to be hitting him. But takes out all the 3 Hellions that were coming across the map. So if Keen was planning on some sort of a... I guess it wasn't then, right? Otherwise you wouldn't really commit there with those Hellions. He just is going around with the Hellions and the Banshees more so as the harassment. It feels a lot more old school rather than the big push through the middle. With Hellbats and Banshees that we also see now and again. Do we have Spore Crawlers this time though? I don't see any in production, so I assume we do. Ragnarok did catch wind of that Banshee, so yeah, there we go. There's the Spore Crawlers. No lair yet available, but Spores will do the same job here. Skin tries to find some little nuke, a little area where he still might be able to get some work done. That does take out 3 workers, 4 of them. Probably would like to see him get a bit more for the price of the 2 Banshees and those Hellions before as well. Doesn't quite feel like game-ending damage has been accumulated just quite yet. Starting to somewhat happen though. I'm not sure at the exact total we're at right now, but 8 workers, 8-ish workers right now. In total, probably, still for the 3 Hellions. That's pretty good. 7 workers, alright. Yeah, so that's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. I would give a favor towards Keen in this overall open starting phase of the game. It's not won it yet, though, that's for sure. Still a hefty amount of drones have been made by Ragnarok. Re-establishing, he's got 4 bases running. Definitely needs to be a bit more here for Keen to really secure a victory here. Hydra Den. Next evolution in the Zerg. And of course the Lurkers most likely going to be following. Taking out some rocks that can be rather bothersome with siege tank pushes. Funnily enough, siege tank push just coming along the other side of the map though, but still. Rather be overly prepared than not prepared at all. Might help him out later down the line as well, right? It is a very popular place to push from, but you do have that watchtower, so as long as you have that, your siege tanks can just shoot for miles. Of course, if you micro backwards, Zerglings to get on top of that siege tank, but it looks like the Hellions there to save it. Banshees on top of a hatchery here. Don't get a lot of drones, but good chunk of HP there being destroyed. Not sure if that was the intent, but it was the outcome. Might be able to get it destroyed later down the line. What we got here? 6 more Marines. It's an alright amount in case there's a couple of Banglings or something trying to make a run for it, right into your mineral line. Hellbats get taken out. Marines secured into the medevac. There we go, you see. A couple of Marines ready to defend against any counter-attack. Something that we can see more and more Zergs do. Just running Zerglings as soon as the Terran is being aggressive, as they tend to just come at you with everything they got. This is a very nice surround though with those Zerglings from the other side, and once again this entire battlefield gets cleaned up by Ragnarok. Feeling mighty secure now, most likely. Another base trying to be produced by Keen. Only after that attack started failing, perhaps. Also, those upgrades starting up. Maybe anticipating that he would be able to end this game a bit sooner and wasn't quite making the place for the later parts of this game yet. Let's get a base there. be cleaned up once more. The siege tank, of course, not going to be able to escape. Those Marines should be able to. There we are. A couple of Marines here. Already set up with the defense. Immediately starts up those creep tumors. Great job there by Ragnarok. He really does seem in shape right now, doesn't he? He seems like just an absolute machine of Zerg at the moment. He hasn't traded super efficiently. He's taken some damage in the early game, but here he is, well established. He's got map control, or at least enough map control to, you know, not be blindsided by every off attack. It's like an overlord. Getting set up there, a little bit of a baiting connection. Okay, once again escaping with the medevacs. Moment in time here for Keen, perhaps. Not really finding anything worthwhile with his aggression anymore. And slowly but surely, just whenever he tries to go for aggression, it seems like he's being picked off a bit sooner on the map, trying to traverse the map. He just encounters a patch of Zerg a bit earlier every time, and then just gets pushed backwards. Starting to feel like, yeah, we're going to see the Zergs suddenly the player that will be moving on the offensive role here rather than the defensive role. And it's going to mean the Terran is going to have to set up shop behind those bases, behind those siege tanks, planetaries and all the shebang. Hold on to his horses, see if he can still grind this out somehow, some way. And again, Ragnarok, look at the way he's approaching this situation. He is holding backwards. He's out of max supply, but he's not engaging. He's not just running in everything blindly, being like, alright, well, here we go, the Hail Mary, let's try to end this now. No, because Keen still 119 army supply strong. He's maxed out as well. Sure, you've had good battles out on the field, but you're not in a position yet where you can just A-move your opponent if you send everything at him. No way. So he's taking the rest of the map. He's keeping tabs on his opponent. He's not allowing him to do any damage to him either. He's going to try to avoid Keen from being able to take any of the base scanner attacks when Keen does try to move out. Very good. There we go. Into those SCVs. That is 16 SCVs stacked up right on top of one another. And a good chunk of economic damage being accomplished right there. Medevac drop with a couple of Marines. A bit of a nuisance, but nothing too worrisome. It appears for Ragnarok. The attack for King, perhaps one of the final moments here where he can still make something happen. Upgrades are looking pretty tight, but let's see. Good spread. Still a lot of creep underneath the feet of those Marine siege tanks and marauders, though. The entire battlefield sprawled out with that slimy purple stuff. Ready to help out Ragnarok with this engagement. Let's see if it's going to be enough from a couple of angles here. Will he be coming in? The spread out of this Terran is about as good as it could be. Is it going to be enough, though? Well, may not quite work out that way. Unfortunately, it's a tight one, but the Zerg will be able to pick this one off. For the time being, more reinforcements for both players. They're kind of stabilizing both fronts, but I guess the creep is gone now. That is a good thing for Keen. It's going to make it a bit easier for this next battle. At the same time, it's going to take a lot longer for him to remax. The Zerg now also incorporating Ultralisk into the competition, and once those are out, I don't think we have the firepower really to gun down the beefiest of beefers, the Ultralisk. Prime rib of the Zergling is going to be an Ultralisk. There we go, getting the speed first. I think we are just gonna see Ragnarok once again clean this up. Start pushing across the map right now. with the help of those Ultralisks. Maybe wait for a couple of extra Marine Zerglings. Actually, we have Ghosts here as well. Might be able to pick up all these Ultralisks with the help of some snipes. Ooh, it's getting tight. The base has been acquired by Keen. He's struggling, but he's holding on. Whatever he can, he's definitely holding on. 30 supply behind. But he's acquired another base, surprisingly enough. He managed to get enough space for himself. Even with these dire circumstances, he has found himself another base to start mining from. And that is very important. He kept pushing out with his army. He managed to set up successfully and take efficient trades, which helped him out quite a bit. He wasn't caught out of position with his army still kind of moving around, not yet set up, the siege tanks in siege mode and all of that good stuff, of course. He had pre-split his Marines, Marauders, all the shebang. And then behind that, setting up that third base. Very well done there by Keen. Will be a big run by apparently with Banelings on that 12 o'clock base. Quite a scary one here. Let's see. I guess this is going to be the planetary going down. That's alright. Immediate replacements. Orbital does come in. Might be the main base actually, though. He was flying over there. As we're seeing a red dot missing in the base of Keen. There you go. Making a supply depot of replacements. Memorial supply depot for the orbital that once stood. Okay. You know what? Keen definitely making some lovely plays here. I was anticipating Ragnarok to kind of go into the lurk attack. Did go into the Ultralist attack. It's not been too bad for him so far, but hasn't quite made that many great connections with them yet either. Baneling run by there, having second thoughts about doing some self-destructive actions. Taking some self-destructive actions. There we go. Is now finally enough for Ragnarok? I don't think so. Army supplies are telling kind of a gruesome tale for him. Those Banelings, they are quite a bit worth SCVs who suffer the punishment right now, but I don't know, was that a good trade for Ragnarok? It's hard to tell. My initial idea kind of goes to no. As we do see the Terran with more than enough forces moving back across the map are going to strike through, find one base, perhaps even a second base. It's going to come down to how quickly the reinforcing units of Ragnarok are going to be able to come over here. Picking up a good amount of ghosts there, that is very nice. Struggling to really probably push into here, I would say. It's just not going to happen. Still a better economy here for Ragnarok, but needs to manage control over one of these corners. Preferably even both of those corners, of course. Oh, Queen, take out that Liberator. There you go. Achieved her life goals. Circling Baning attack once again into the mineral fields. Trilisk here. Ooh, a little bit coming from an awkward angle. No Banelings here to help out this situation. But that is still enough, is it? Well, it would be the 4 Ultralisk, no? Alright, moving back again. Only 4 SCVs go down by the Banelings. That is not as good as it was a while ago. Keen, my man, is hanging on by a thread for a while. And now suddenly starting to turn the tables, taking out 2 bases of the Zerg, trading out phenomenally well a couple of times over and over again. Perhaps Ragnarok losing his cool a little bit, trying to keep that base alive, make it a bit easier for himself, and through that effort making it a bit more difficult for himself. in the process. That one burrowed circling though, definitely, man, that is an MVP unit right there. Been keeping Keen from mining on that location for such a long period of time. No mules can drop there, it can't transform into a planetary, all that stuff. Everything being delayed by such an enormous amount of time. Like seeing Keen utilizing the scans here, whenever he moves out, he doesn't want to get Baneling landmines in any sort of fashion, so he's being super careful overall. Not taking a single chance. Another nice drop here. The army full. Ragnarok is in the neighborhood. He's going to try to make a move on his base here. He might struggle now as he is on two ends of the map. Ragnarok consolidates his entire forces into one big mighty fist. He might be able to cause Keen to panic and pull both armies onto one side. If the fight for Ragnarok goes well enough in the first couple of moments, he might be able to snowball. But at the same time, he may lose a lot of his own economy as well. If that other left arm flank of Keen is gonna make a move forwards rather than backwards. And it looks like he is gonna stay separated here with his army. No panic going around in Keen's mind. He's going to try to hold on here with whatever he has. A great micro so far from those Marines, staying on the distance with the Banelings coming in. I'm going to be trying to figure out a way to pick up those Vipers, not quite able to. Getting on top of the production facilities here could be a great boon for Ragnarok. Let's see if he manages to do so. That's a good amount of Hydralisk, Ultralisk, and Zergling still remaining here. Again, is this going to be enough? The snipes really being quite worthwhile. Putting all the Ultralisk either in the red or just straight up killing them. Another Hydralisk, not enough there. The offensive for Keen still going strong though, still moving forwards, and looks like Keen, my god, what a play overall. Doing quite wonderfully well. Well, actually, hold up. Looking at the supplies, it's awfully equal, isn't it? The worker camp for Keen is decimated. Not sure how many orbitals he has. Ragnarok doesn't want to lose all his tech structures. Yeah, Ragnarok still is. I mean, he can't even clean up 4 Marines and 2 Marauders. I mean, that's gotta count for something, right? Now finally cleans it up, but look at the amount of extra units that are still coming in. Corruptors, we're gonna get this planetary. He wants it. He's gonna sacrifice the Corruptors. Does manage to get it. So that's even less mining now available for Keen. Ragnarok needs to hold on, needs to not die. Does he? Oh man, I would love to see some Infestors now. If he had just 1 or 2 Infestors, if he lands a fungal in this army, I think it's over. I think he's done it. We'll have to wait and see though. Right. Tensing up right now. Things going back and forth between the two of them for an extreme amount of time. Not clear as to who's going to be able to really secure the victory here. Let's see. The push out does manage to destroy all of those fine crawlers. Bit of a preemptive move there perhaps from Ragnarok. Now taking a lot of seed-stained fire before he actually tries to commit, waiting for the Vipers. Blinding Clouds do come in and a lot of them do strike gold, but there's not that many Banelings remaining. It's just Hydralisk. That means those Marines right here are going to be able to just keep pushing forwards. Unsieging, another Zergling right there at the same spot. Remember me? Well, I'm back. Hardly any mining going on here for either of these players. Vine Crawlers, these ones will be poking a little bit, but looks like they get like, what, 3-4 Marines in total. What a tremendous amount. guess every little bit matters here in these situations. Oh, massive EMP on the Viper before it manages to get a blinding cloud on. More Banes are still rolling in though. Hydralisks jumping forward. Zerglings, is this enough? Is this enough? Oh, Keen is breaking. Army supply looking a bit better now for Ragnarok. Moving forwards. A tidal wave of Zerg moving a little bit desynchronized here. Those Hydras need to stick together with the Zerglings. The Zerglings tanking the damage. They do have the adrenal gland upgrade, I would assume, as well. So, do a bit of damage themselves as well. But once again, Keen stabilizing and now starting to push backwards. This is a ridiculous game overall. 935 Zerglings been killed overall. Ah, Broodlords. Broodlords coming in. Ragnarok digging deep here right now in the bag of Zerg tricks that they can pull, I suppose. Let's see if that is going to be enough here. There is a good amount of Marines, one stim underneath. Might be able to do it, but at the same time, if you have Banelings there, stimming and moving forwards against Banelings, that is the opposite of what you want to do. And that could cause those Banelings to be ever so much more fruitful in their connections. And that could be the game-ending army composition here for Ragnarok. This final switch of 2 Broodlords. Let's see if it will be enough. Careful of the siege tanks, of course. There we go. There's the stim from the Marines. Where's the Banelings trying to defend? Not quite really helping out. The siege tank showing where the Broodlings showing where the siege tank fire range is. You've got to be careful. You can't lose those Broodlords. Wants him to commit as much as possible. There goes one of the Broodlords. He's struggling here to keep them alive. The second Broodlord very likely to go down now as well. And a pickup in the medevacs is going to keep everything safe. Zerglings decide, you know what, if your bio is now in the medevacs, I'm going to try to make a run for it. You do not have the DPS that you used to have. But there's only one Baneling left. Oh, you're going to move back the Hydralisk. Again, evacuates here. Couldn't keep those Broodlords alive. That is very unfortunate. So many losses overall have been taken here. The bottom right side not having been mined from in quite a while. Hoping to see that still come in at some point in time. The Hydralisks go for a snipe on the orbital. They lose a couple of their brethren though in the process. Immediately another Zergling down in the ground, digs himself in again. Wants this to be a continuous pain in the rear for Keen. One Marine showing its strength right there. Taking out a good amount of drones on his own. Keen just building a missile turret now. Because every time you've got to use his scan, this is quite bad for Keen. He's only on 23 workers. He doesn't want to waste any bit of energy on scanning. But at the same time, a missile turret, that's a good amount of money too. This is rather ridiculous. A couple of Banelings here. It's smart to start using the Baneling landmines now as well, because again, you don't want to be using the scans as vigorously as Keen was before. He's lost most of his orbitals. He's lost most of his bases. Ragnarok slowly but surely is eking out on economy here once again though. You can see 1300 minerals coming in versus the 700 minerals. Might be switching up pretty soon though with Keen starting to acquire that new base. This is a lot of infantry going down actually. Thought Keen would be quicker on the trigger to start recuperating up in the medevacs. But not quite doing that as quickly as I thought he would. Back now to 43 army supply versus 44. 5 lurkers in production. There we go. Another tech switch from our Zerg player here. Coming in. There is a Liberator. There are Ghosts. There are Siege Tanks. Maybe the Lurkers gonna catch. Oh, Banelings, please. Oh my god, Ragnarok. That would have been massive. That would have been. Oh. It's a shame. It's a shame. Little medevac here, kind of trying to figure out what the army composition is. Sees. Oh, wait, it's Lurkers? Oh boy. Oh boy, what do we do here? Quickly make more Liberators. Zerg is now on top of this orbital, denying the mining here. That is quite bad for Keen. He was finally getting back in the groove again, with getting actual money in his pocket. I want to see a Zergling burrow there. I want to see a Zergling burrow there. Maybe he's just going to take it himself now with another hatchery. Who knows? It's rough to say. He's taken control of the bottom side for the map for the time being, but Keen's eye started to change direction. Now, eyeing up that bottom side here. Spent quite a bit of time maneuvering his army towards the bottom. And, oh, that is a lot of banelings and Zerglings just kind of whipping everything right there. Tough situation here for Ragnarok all of a sudden. Having this Terran army in between a couple of his bases. Two of his prime mining locations now under severe threat. Using more Zerglings in a bit of a spur of the moment type of attempt to safeguard some HP or a hatchery here, I would say. So there's the Viper, not a parasitic bomb onto the Liberator. Down goes the hatchery. Was the less important out of the two? To be fair, that bottom right's a bit more important, I would say. Looks like he's not quite done with pushing here yet. Army supply difference starting to eke out into Ragnarok's favor right now. That economic advantage truly shining through. He is mining about 10 times the amount that Keen is. So every single second that is continuing onwards in this game could be a second that is going to cause Ragnarok to win here. That was a wonderful engagement right there. Those siege tanks nowhere near where they needed to be when the fighting started. So Ragnarok shaving off an enormous portion of the army there. Gotta be feeling tremendous at this moment in time. 31 minutes passed by. Let's see if this will be the final conclusive attempt, or if Keen actually succeeds and the game continues onwards, right? Because if he gets this base, it just means, like, at least I feel like we're just going to continue onwards a little bit longer. But if he doesn't, I mean, you may as well tap out now, right? This is just such a horrendous position otherwise. It already is a bad position, but I've said that before for Keen, and he wiggled his way out, so alright, nope, doesn't get it. GG is called. And that's going to be the end of this series. What an immensely impressive play from the Alpha X players here. Classic coming in for the first time in this World Team League, of course, showing that it's quite worthwhile having him around, taking out Trap in that first game.